Hello there, and welcome to the Potent Puffin podcast. I'm your host, Jake Thomas, and right beside me is Kita, the Elk Hound. This week's been a pretty interesting week. My wife's been gone to Seattle, so it's mostly been just me and Calson. But luckily, my sister-in-law and my mother-in-law live with us, so they've been able to help with watching Calson since I work night shift. So they've been able to watch him both while I'm at work and during the day when I'm asleep. So it's not like I've been having to work and stay up during the day longer than I normally do. So I've been able to keep to my schedule relatively regularly. Um, and Calson's still been getting taken care of. So I'm grateful to them for being able to help out like that. And still, it's been kind of weird not having my wife around the house, but she gets back tomorrow. Be glad to have her back. Um, but that was exciting for her. I'm glad for her. She got to take a little retreat trip with her company for their annual conference. They did a virtual conference, but several of her coworkers from the West Coast all met together to watch the virtual conference live together and still do some team building exercise. So that's good for them. I was excited. I'm glad she got to do that because I mean it's been almost a year since she's been able to get off of the island. So I'm glad she was able to do that and go have some time to herself and do something for her. And so that was been great. And for me, I don't know. This week's been kind of weird because like out of nowhere, I've just had like this like real like really kind of been missing, sailing and getting underway from when I was in the Coast Guard. Just kind of like miss being at sea. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird that longing to get back to sea just kind of came out of nowhere. And it does that every so often. Like I'll just have like this crazy like want to just start, going to sea again. I don't know if I'll ever, work in a job where I'll get to do that. I don't know. Sometimes I've thought about maybe not necessarily going into the business side of sports like I thought, which is what I was thinking I would do when I first started going for my degree in sports management. But I don't know. Sometimes I think maybe I could try working like on a cruise line, um, doing like an activities like director kind of thing. Um, organizing some of the shipboard recreational activities, and that way, I still, doing something with my degree and get to be, getting underway again. That's kind of something I've been thinking about lately. Um, but I don't know how much cruise ships are really actively recruiting right now. Um, but maybe once COVID starts loosening up and cruises start getting going again, they'll start ramping up their recruiting again. That might just happen to fall in better line with mine and Brandy's timeline with wanting to move. So I don't know. Maybe it'll work out, or maybe it'll just be another, fleeting desire where after a week or two I kind of go back to, being indifferent about being underway. I don't know. We'll see. But it's interesting to see how that might go. But whenever this happens, it's always that Jimmy Buffett song, Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Attitudes, always comes to mind because he says, I dream of the oceans. God, I wish I was sailing again. And that's just how I get sometimes. I just have this longing to be out on the ocean and, you know, sailing, waking up in a new port of call each day, seeing new places. And that's really what it is, I think. I don't know so much that it's, well, I do miss being underway. I miss, the feeling of just being out in the middle of the water, nothing around. Just that going out on the fantail at night or being up on the bridge at night, especially, it's just a calming thing for me. But then again, it could just be that it's not necessarily that I want to be sailing, but that I want to just be traveling. Because I do like to travel, and so does my wife. And so, something we like to do together. Hopefully, in the next couple years, we'll get to do some big trips. We got a few places we want to travel to. So, hopefully, we'll be able to, once we get moved and settled in somewhere more permanently, we'll be able to start planning some larger trips and doing some good traveling and getting to see the world and show the world to Calson. So that's something to look forward to in the next few years for us. And yeah, I don't know what much, there's not been too much else going on for us. I mean, just, yeah, that's about it. We got a trip next week. We'll be going up to Anchorage. Calson has to get some allergy testing done, so we'll have to go up to Anchorage for that. And just because of the times of the appointments, we'll have to go up a day early and most likely won't be able to make it back until the next day, just because of when his appointments line up with when the flights are. So we'll get a few days off the island with, getting to enjoy Anchorage a little bit. So that's exciting. I know Calson, I don't think we've told him yet that we're going to Anchorage, but I know once he sees the plane, he'll get excited because he loves to do that, and he hasn't got to leave the island in almost a year either. So, he'll be excited once he gets to Anchorage, even if it's still kind of limited on what we can do. I mean, it'll still be good to just get off the island and be somewhere else for a day or two. Just because that's just kind of part of living on an island, especially one like Kodiak, where there's only one town and it's a small town. You have to get off the island every so often just to keep from getting island fever, I guess. I mean, we've lived on other islands, like we lived on Oahu, but Honolulu is such a big city that, and then you got so many places you can drive to on Oahu. I mean, it's not like you only have Honolulu. Like, you can drive off to the North Shore and go to Kailua, go to Eba. There's all these different places you can drive to. And so, it's not like, you still got, like, the island experience, but it's a different type of island experience. And so, I mean, imagine, even being somewhere big like Oahu, you still gotta go somewhere, get off the island every so often just to keep from going crazy. But I think it's a little more of a necessity somewhere like Kodiak, where it really is just the one town. It's like you can't just drive to another town, and you have a lot less, activities to choose from. So, it's just a little different type of island life. So, it's good to get off every so often. and go do other things, even when it is just, day tripping to Anchorage. But that's exciting for us. So I know Bubby Calson, he'll be excited. He really wants to go to Target, so I guess we'll have to make a quick trip to Target and probably stop at Bass Pro. That'll be something he likes to do. He loves going to Bass Pro just so he can see the fish swimming around in the aquarium. That's always fun for him. I like it. I really like the aquarium at the Bass Pro in Anchorage. It's just it's a really calming one. It's a nice place to just sit and relax. And so I'm excited to get to go to that Bass Pro again. And yeah, that's about it for this week. So I'm just gonna cut this episode a little bit shorter than usual. But oh well. I mean, that's kind of not much. I've just been really busy, so I didn't really have time to just plan out any real topics for this week. So I'll catch you all next week, and if you want, check out my Instagram or Twitter, or if you like art, definitely check out the Instagram or my YouTube. It's the same podcast, but I have Sharpie drawings being made on there, or you can just check out the Instagram and see the finished drawings on there. And so yeah, if you like, just give me a follow on any of those, and I'd appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys next week.